Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another installment of the Now Review. And this time, we're returning to the Yearbook series, specifically the Yearbook Extra series, and the year 1978. This is the latest in a addition to the Yearbook series, so join me as we take a look at the 3-disc release, the collector's edition, supposedly, of Now Yearbook 1978 Extra. Or Now Yearbook Extra 1978, depending on how you like to line up these titles here. So, anyone who knows the yearbook format knows what the deal is here. Another release with 3 discs containing a bunch more songs from that particular year that couldn't fit on the first yearbook release. So the focus here is 1978, which of course was one of the more recent yearbooks that we've had. You can see from the cover that it is pretty much the same. You have this lovely pink gradient going on here, so at the top it's pink, and as it goes further down it devolves more into a darker pink or even more of a red. Not an expert on my colour shades, but I do like the gradient style that the yearbooks have been going for quite recently. You can see that the logo, the central logo, is exactly the same as well as what was on the original yearbook. The only main difference are some of the text. So on the right there, you can see in that golden square the word extra in that lovely 70s font that we do love so much, and at the top it does say collector's edition. This has always been sort of put into claims here because that implies there's a limited quantity of these. I'm not actually sure what the production numbers are, but I've always been able to pick these up pretty easily. And at the bottom it says 66 more essential hits from 1978. So one of my favourite features of the yearbook is that it introduces me to songs that I haven't heard of. It's a great gateway into that sort of stuff, so we'll see if that lives up to it here. Let's flip it on over and take a look at that all-important track list. So on CD 1 we're kicking off with Queen and Bicycle Race. Fun little song that is. The Boomtown Rats with Like Clockwork. Blondie and Picture This. The Electric Light Orchestra with Wild West Hero. Smokey with Oh Carol. Darts and Come Back My Love. Shawaddy Waddy with I Wonder Why. John Travolta with Grease Lightning. No, that is not the megamix, that is the full song from the film. Crystal Gale with Talking in Your Sleep, beautiful track. Anne Murray with You Needed Me. Hot Chocolate with I'll Put You Together Again, very tender song from them. The OJs with Used to Be My Girl. Radio with Jack and Jill. Third World with Now That We've Found Love. High Tension with British Hustle, which I'd argue is very inferior compared to the Van McCoy Hustle. Cheryl Lynn with Got to Be Real. Musique with In the Bush. Boney M with Rasputin. Need we say more about that one? A TikTok hit a few years ago. Amanda Lear with Follow Me. Voyage with Souvenirs. Patrick Juvette with Got a Feeling. And Donna Summer with Last Dance. That's 22 tracks there on CD 1. On CD 2 then, we're kicking off with Meatloaf and 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad. Billy Joel with Just the Way You Are. Dean Friedman with Lydia. Awesome track that is. David Soul with It Sure Brings Out the Love in Your Eyes. Chris Rea with Fool If You Think It's Over. Lindisfarne with Run for Home. Elton John with Ego, great track from him as well. Status Quo with Again and Again. Jeff Wayne and Justin Hayward with The Eve of the War, which is one of the opening tracks from The War of the Worlds. A epic track. I also love the modern version that they did about 10 years ago now, but The Eve of the War is just a brilliant opener for that War of the Worlds album. The Motors and Forget About You. Ultravox with Slow Motion. Squeeze with Take Me I'm Yours. Public Image Limited with Public Image. The Clash and Tommy Gun. Elvis Costello and The Attractions with Pump It Up. The Boomtown Rats with She's So Modern. Magazine with Shot by Both Sides. The Jam with David Watts. Rich Kids with, well, Rich Kids. Sham 69 with If the Kids Are United. Yellow Dog with Just One More Night. And Street Band with Toast, which is actually a really, really fun song, but I highly recommend that you check that out there. But that's another 22 tracks on CD 2, and then on CD 3 we're kicking off with Blondie and I'm Always Touched by Your Presence, Dear. Chris Norman and Susie Quattro with Stumbling In, or lovely little ballad there. Andrew Gold with How Can This Be Love. Samantha Sang with Emotion, which I believe has backing vocals from Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees. It certainly sounds like him. Earth, Wind and Fire with Got to Get You Into My Life. Donna Summer with Rumour Has It. Patrick Juvette with I Love America. Evelyn Champagne King with Shame. Village People with Macho Man. Not one of my favourites of theirs, I've got to be honest. I mean, for the outdated title alone. Baccarat with Parlez-vous Français, which was the 1978 entry for Luxembourg at Eurovision. Another Eurovision song now with Izzy Cohen and Alpha Beta with Abani B, which actually won Eurovision in 1978 for Israel. The Dooleys with A Rose Has to Die. Barry Manilow with Can't Smile Without You, one of his better songs in my opinion. Johnny Mathis with Denise Williams and Too Much, Too Little, Too Late. Elkie Brooks with Lilac Wine. Leo Sayer with Raining in My Heart, Darts with It's Raining, 2 raining songs back to back, Child with It's Only Make Believe, Shawaddy Waddy with Pretty Little Angel Eyes, Father Abraham with Dippity Day, which I believe is another song in the Smurfs canon, The Barren Knights with A Taste for Aggro, which is a really interesting parody song, which parodies, what was it, Rivers of Babylon, the Smurf song, and Matchstick Men and Matchstick Cats and Dogs. Highly recommend you listen to it, I quite like it. And we finish with Boney M themselves with Mary's Boy Child and Oh My Lord, the Christmas #1 for 1978. So, very good. That's 66 tracks in total, as the cover suggested, across 3 discs. I'll take some time now just to open this up before we talk about the track list. As you can see on the adverts, look at all these yearbooks, man. I actually forgot that we've actually had so many yearbooks, 9 of them, and the range just keeps on growing. So, happy to see them there. So, they are available for you to either, I guess, buy in some way or another. And then also, let's have a look at the disc. So it's a 3-disc album, as mentioned, and the discs go for the sort of same gradient structure as the front cover. So as you can see, disc 1 is more of that lighter pink, disc 2 is starting to get darker in its shade, and then disc 3 is the darkest of them all. Really like the colour tones on this one. I think the pink, red hues line up really well with each other. Yeah, solid stuff. So the track list on this one, I mean, ultimately, I think it's a really strong showing. A lot of the tracks, like with a lot of the extra releases, I wasn't familiar with before listening to them, and I discovered so many lovely tracks here that, especially a lot of the ballads on this one, 1978 was a good year for ballads, I think. I mean, a lot of them are just lovely on the ears, lovely to listen to. I like the range of genres that are included. Obviously, you've got disco stuff, which was booming at the time, but you've also got smatterings of, like, punk, and all that sort of like the new alternative scene that would obviously explode in the 80s. You get a really good mix of stuff here, real bang for your buck. Speaking of that, where can you get it and how much does it retail for? Well, it retails at most places for £8.99, so £9 total, £3 per disc. Not a bad price at all. I got mine from HMV as I always do, but you can get it from a variety of other places. You might get lucky in your supermarket if they still stock CDs, independent music retailers as ever, or Amazon if that's your only option available to you. And in terms of whether you should get it, as I always say with the Yearbook Extra releases, because a lot of these tracks don't get much feature on Now compilations or compilations as a whole, maybe do your research in advance. Maybe have a listen to some of these tracks, see if that's something you're going for. Generally, I think if you like 1978 or the late 70s as a whole, you know, you like what was on the charts at the time, then you probably will enjoy a smattering at least of what's on here, but maybe do some research beforehand before you plunge into this one. But that's all for this installment of the Now Review. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it as ever, please do leave a like on this video. It really does help us out. And subscribe to us here. If you're brand new, we'd love to have you aboard. Let me know down in the comments whether you're picking up this release or not. And in the meantime, I've been Adam Martin from AMTV Now. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time for another spin on the turntable.